Listen, you're not broke because you skipped your 5 a.m. alarm, and reading 100 books won't make you rich. Because if information created wealth, well, librarians would be billionaires. The wealthy don't consume more. They implement faster and they focus on the right things that actually move the needle. Look, I get it. I tried these habits too. I'd wake up at ungodly hours. I tried to work out and meditate at 5:30 in the morning. I forced myself to read a book a week. And yes, I even tried those damn cold showers. When I finally cracked the code, I realized it wasn't about wake up times. It was about understanding the frameworks that actually move the needle. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what those frameworks look like. But before I show you these frameworks, let's break down these myths one by one. First up, the 5 a.m. club deception. You've probably read countless books claiming that waking up at 5 a.m. is somehow the magic formula for financial success. Let's look what actual billionaires do. Mark Zuckerberg never was a morning person. Started his day around 10:30 while building Facebook. Warren Buffett, he gets up at 6:45 and proudly says, "I like to sleep." Bill Gates, he sleeps until 7, prioritizing mental sharpness over early wake-up times. So here's the thing most people miss. Some successful people wake up early, but they don't wake up early to become successful. They have the freedom to structure their day however they want because they're already successful. All right, now let's talk about everyone's favorite myth. Read 100 books a year or stay poor. Because apparently the size of your bank account is directly tied to how many pages you can plow through. Look, here's the mathematical reality. Reading 100 books takes around, 200 to 400 hours per year. That's basically a part-time job dedicated to just consuming information. But here's what nobody talks about. Without application, that's 0% return on your time investment. You see, the problem isn't reading. No, reading is great. The problem is confusing information consumption with wealth creation. Reading without application is just passive consumption. You might as well just watch Netflix. The truly wealthy don't read more books. They read the right books and actually apply the specific insights. And information alone doesn't create wealth. Systematic application of knowledge, that creates wealth. Trust me, I've seen too many people with highlighted books and empty bank accounts. They can quote every business biography on their shelf, but they can't tell you the last time they actually implemented something they learned. So while you're forcing yourself to finish another business book, highlighting sentences you'll never use, the truly wealthy understand that when you focus on implementing just one valuable concept, that this is worth more than consuming 100 books without action. You see, the wealthy, they focus on building decision systems, not reading lists. They understand that reading one book on a topic that's important to you right now, let's say building wealth, and actually implementing what you read about will be far more valuable than just plowing through books and never implementing anything. Making sense? All right, so now let's talk about my personal favorite myth, the cold shower secret to wealth. Apparently, standing in freezing water every morning is supposed to somehow make you rich? Look, I actually tried this one, and you know what I discovered? I was just a cold, miserable guy who was still making the same financial decisions as before. Now, I looked into it, and here's what the research actually shows. When we look at real billionaires like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, or Elon Musk, there's zero evidence they're taking cold showers as part of their wealth building routine. Think about it. These people have been studied, interviewed, and documented more than almost anyone else on the planet, yet somehow this crucial habit never comes up in their success story. So here's the deal. The cold shower myth fails on 3 levels. Number 1, it creates a false sense of accomplishment because you managed to suffer through misery rather than focusing on actual wealth-building activities. Well, congratulations. Number two, it wastes mental energy on something completely irrelevant. You know that you only have a certain amount of willpower every day. Well, congratulations, you just wasted it on taking a cold shower. Number three, and most importantly, it's confusing correlation with causation. So what does this mean? Well, some successful people might take cold showers, but cold showers don't create wealth. So while you're shivering in a freezing shower every morning, feeling miserable but somehow victorious, the truly wealthy are focused on something entirely different. So what are the wealthy actually focused on? Well, it's actually pretty simple. They think differently about money. Duh, what does it mean? Well, it means most people think in a linear way, which means more hours equals more money, or reading more equals more knowledge and more wealth, or working harder to earn slightly more. See, that's linear thinking. But the wealthy, they think exponentially. You see, the wealthy, they build decision frameworks that generate wealth regardless of their morning routine. They focus on what really matters, on needle movers, not on distractions. So let me show you exactly what this looks like. So let's talk about growing an account. There are only 4 variables. Number 1, starting capital. Number 2, the monthly contribution. Number 3, the length in years. And number 4, interest rate. So what do you think? What's the most important variable? What should you focus on? What will really move the needle? Well, let's take a look at an example. Let's say you have a starting capital of $100,000. Let's say you're making a monthly contribution of $500 and you do it over 20 years. Let's also say that your interest rate is 8%. So this means that after 20 years, your $100,000 have grown into $787,000 and some change. All right, so let's focus on these variables and let's get started with the first variable. Let's talk about starting capital. Well, let's say that you can double that. What would happen then? Okay, all other variables remain the same, but now the starting capital is $200,000. The monthly contribution, still $500. The length in years, 20 years, and the interest rate is still 8%. So what would happen after 20 years? Well, your $200,000 are growing to 1.279 million and some change. All right, let's modify another variable. Now let's increase the monthly contribution. So we're setting the starting capital back to 100,000, and now we're doubling the monthly contribution instead of $500 to $1,000. Again, same 20 years, same interest rates. And with twice the monthly contribution, your 100,000 grow into just a little bit more than $1 million. All right, let's look at another variable. What about the length in years? So we modify that. So let's say you start with 100,000, you contribute $500. The length in years, we won't double it because who wants to do it for 40 years? But we go from 20 to 30 years. Interest rates still remain the same. Well, now with more time, your $100,000 are turning into $1.8 million. All right, now let's look at the last variable, the interest rate. So everything else stays the same. Starting capital, 100,000, monthly contribution, 500, length in years, 20, and now we double the interest rate from 8% to 16%. Now look what happens. Your $100,000 are turning into $3.2 million. As you can see, finding the right variable and increasing the right variable will move the needle for you. It will turn your result from just shy of 800,000 to 4 times as much, to 3.2 million, even though you just double one variable. And that's exactly my point. You see, while most people are obsessing over wake-up times, the wealthy are focused on leverage point. They are finding the 20% of actions that generate 80% of the results. They understand how systematic decisions compound over time, and they think exponential rather than linear. And in this example, if you focus on the right variable, that's what's moving the needle for you. All right, one more thing. Here's something that you'll never read about in those Billionaire Habits articles. Something that's possible, the most powerful wealth accelerator of all, and that is network leverage. See, the wealthy, they don't just build personal systems, they build networks. So what does this actually look like? Well, they hang out with other people with the same goals, people who are running the same playbook, people who get it. Not to brag about taking cold showers, but to share what's actually working. You see, the truly wealthy, they're not trying to be the smartest person in the room. Instead, they're swapping notes, sharing wins and losses, making everyone sharper. But here's really the thing that nobody talks about. They have people who hold them accountable. Not some random Instagram accountability post, but real people who are in the trenches with them. And that's exactly why here at Rockwell Trading, we're big on community, because let's be real, a system is great, but having a bunch of people with the same goal, sharing tips, how to implement it, that's where stuff gets real. So here's the bottom line. While everyone else is focusing on flashy habits that sound great on social media but create zero financial return, the wealthy are quietly implementing these systematic frameworks that actually generate wealth. The 5 a.m. club, cold showers, and reading 100 books, well, they're just distractions, keeping you busy with low impact activities while preventing you from focusing on what actually moves the financial needle. So if you want to learn more about these frameworks and strategies that build actual wealth, then I have a playlist for you. And in this playlist, you'll find a bunch of videos like this. Go over there and I'll see you over there.